Yeah, whether or not you like it, you are public servants on every level. It's as simple as that. Professionalism is the name of this game. I don't care what the public has done to you. I don't care the fact that the media vilifies you every day. I don't care that you are guilty until proven innocent a lot of the times, most all the times when it comes down to what the public and the media say. I know your command staff will string you out to dry faster than you can even bat an eye on. I understand. I also understand the high level of emotion that we're asking you to remain professional over, right? You see things that the public does not ever see. You have stories. You have the frustrations over how, as good as you are trying to do, your prosecution system, right? The state district attorneys, they won't do their job, right? You get the most righteous, awesome bust in the planet, and it's somebody who needs to go to jail, and the state's like, nah, no. It's not a felony. Give him a court date and then cut him loose. And you're like, what? And I understand how it goes. I really do. But I'm going to tell you something. You chose this job. You really did. And if my passion is to change the culture, right? Changing the cop culture and getting it so the public looks at police and says, these are invaluable men and women on the street. We have to actually step back and respect what they're doing. Not just support you, but respect what you're doing, then you have to step up to the plate and you have to be the first ones to move towards being righteous, integrity, professionalism, and you have to watch what you say. Now, remember, anytime I talk about a topic, it's something that I am an expert at. And using my mouth on duty, any coworker who would ever talk about me would tell you about the smartass, asshole, back talker, disrespectful cop that I was with a lot of people, right? So I am armchair quarterbacking. I would look at people. One of my favorite things to do was to piss people off, where they look at me, call me every name in the book, and I'd go, we both know what you are, and just leave it right up into ambiguity for them to insert whatever slur or insult I put in their head and just leave them. I used to jack people up, and I loved it. It was so satisfying, but that's not the job. That's not professional, and it isn't what it is. You have to watch what you say because the public, remember, you're going to win on the street. And I'm going to say this, and this is the ultimate path for this. We're at this like tipping point. The pot's almost boiling. It's a teeter-totter, and it's like one hair away from the public revolting. It really is. They've seen what you guys did during the lockdowns. They see how you selectively will go, and instead of upholding the law or arresting real criminals, you guys raid people's homes for squirrels. You gang up and pull over NFL players. You do shit that is so easy when you're in gangs. You shoot women with boiling pots of water, and you don't do what's really necessary a lot of the times. And we know that the lie of what I just said is that it's what the media chooses to selectively put out there. Don't forget, the giant echo now that we have, the big podium, the monstrous bullhorn is social media, and you are going to be vilified all the time. The more that the public sees this, and I'll single this out in the black community, right? If you've ever watched any of my content, you see how critical I am of the black community. And we know that it's a generalization of the element that comes from within the 13% of that community that commits between 52 to 53% of the violent crimes. And we form a bias because that's the only thing that the social media shows us. The nonstop criminal abhorrent behavior from within that culture. They don't show us anything else. So we form a bias. They're doing the same thing with you guys. They're making you have this bias of, oh, you guys are just evil and holy shit, you're a gang and you're against us. Bottom line, what I'm saying is keep your fucking mouths shut. Do your job. Go in. Be professional. Clock out, understand it's a profession. You're going to do it for 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever, and that's it. It is not your job to punish. It's not your job to insult. It's not your job to offer opinions in many, many ways. Your job is to collect evidence, observe, report, issue citations, give court dates, save the other stuff for either off-duty, roll call, joking around. I don't care what you name it. Social media is not your fucking friend because you are going to make enemies faster than you can believe by some of the things like this. Let's take a look at this together and just give you some examples of what not to fucking say when you're a police officer.
Want to hear about some of my favorite things to do? This is going to piss you off. It's so much fun. So, and it's early in the morning or late at night. Oh, these are my favorite. When you're driving and you're coming at me, and you know, we pass each other like such, I like to hit my brakes. Yeah, especially early in the morning when you're running late to work, you're speeding, you know you're speeding, I caught you speeding. I just like to hit my brakes. Get the blood flowing, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Really, I'm helping you out if you think about it. Getting your blood flowing, getting you ready for work. I just like to hit my brakes. Scare you a little. Also, when I'm sitting and I'm running speed traffic and I gotta go somewhere else, if I want to go to the gas station or grab a snacky or something, I'll wait. I'll wait till you come by. I don't care how far you're back. If you're 2 miles back, I'm waiting on you. And then as soon as you pass me, I'm gonna pull out. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Also, at a stop sign, I'm not going first. I'll wait. You can do that. No. You're going first. Figured I'd let you in on a couple of fun things that I like to do, and I'm sure others do the same. But yeah. Now you know, or do you? Are we gonna pull you over? Or are we just fucking with you? Which one's it gonna be? You make that choice. I can't make it for you. Good luck.
Everything he done, everything he said in the video, I've done. I used to love that. You go on midnights and you zip around, you haul ass up on somebody, then you just pull up on a side street just to get them to slow down. But you don't say it on social media. You don't. There's let's not mince words. What you guys get away with that badge is insane. You could speed everywhere you go. How many of you, be fucking honest right now, how many of you drink and drive? You've got a badge. You know you get pulled over. It's just going to be like, get home safe. You're with your family when you do it, your girl, your wife when you do it, for the love of God. You know that you flash that badge everywhere you go. You know the public already hates you because you can get away with certain things they just can't, right? How many times you look at use of force videos, is it that you see cops punching somebody and charges get dropped, and then you're like, wait a second, but if that was a member of the public, no, police are covered by use of force. Why are they not being charged? We are. Guys are given the benefit of the doubt on so many things, and you're given carte blanche to do whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm not going to lie. As a cop, I was afraid of nothing. I could say anything I want, go anywhere I want, do anything I want. Didn't abuse people's constitutional rights. I served them as best I could to the utmost and highest of my ability with integrity when I was active and on duty. But my God, of course, there's always that air of arrogance, confidence, untouchableness. This guy, clearly he thought that way. He took his social media down over on Instagram Instagram and TikTok. But, let's hear some more examples of what not to say. This is a very famous one. You guys have heard this before. But again, watch your mouths.
Go 90 miles an hour. You can't do that. So get the out of the way.
Since deleted TikTok was created by Federal Way police officer Brianna Strauss, who said it was a public service announcement for other drivers.
PSA to everyone out there. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm probably speaking for a large majority of other officers out there. If we're driving on the freeway in our police car, get the out of the way. Get the out of the way.
In the 38-second clip, Strauss tells the viewers, quote, I can go 90 miles per hour. You can't. She also says officers will find a way to pull someone over.
If us officers stay behind you long enough, we can find a reason to pull you over. So you might as well get the out of the way. If you merge and we follow behind you and we merge too, you're probably in trouble. Best way to find that out is get the out of the way.
In a statement to local media, the Federal Way Police Department said in part, quote, we have viewed the social media video posted by Officer Strauss and can assure you that it does not represent the core values and practices of our police department.
But the opinion is held by probably all your cops, myself included. So to be honest, if you're so stupid like the cop before her and her, I 100% believe that these people do not have the mental capacity to serve the public. They need to be terminated. They need to be relieved of duty. They are unfit to serve the public because they cannot take their biases and still operate with them. Now, I'm Italian American, right? That means I may or may not have a bias to Greeks. Yeah, if anybody knows from Chicago area, Greeks and Italians, yeah, we get along well, but my God, we'll talk shit about you. So all that problem I had, you don't think that I would go up as a call, hey, so-and-so Malacca is calling because his neighbor took his, I still would, fucking Greek. I still would do my job. Biases, I never went on social media in uniform and talked about it. Social media is getting you guys way too comfortable that you cannot control your biases, your thoughts, and maintain professionalism, and it's going to ruin you in the long run. The problem is, the public's going to see this. They're going to have enough of this shit, dude. They're going to have enough of your entitlement, and they're going to rebel because you clearly are, you're putting the proof out there. You're putting the proof out there, and I didn't see the original video on this. In her original content, which is up, the amount of people who agree shows we have a fucking problem. Because keep that in mind. I talk about this all the time. You got the angry public, the angry mob, who they want to see. They want to see the public punished by the police. So keep that. There's that pinhead that you guys are balancing the entire world on. You don't get. It's the job of the courts to punish, and they're not doing their job. The job of the correctional facility to carry out that punishment, they're not doing their job. The public then is demanding you to punish, and that's not your job. And when you don't do it, now you got the mob who's going to be pissed at you for not punishing. The video I put up yesterday talking about how the guy shot once because he was so afraid. You're going to get the angry mob. Well, why didn't you pump 15 rounds into him to terminate life-threatening behavior? Then you get the other side of the mob going, why couldn't you shoot him in the leg or use a taser? You guys have the hardest job on the planet appeasing all sides. Why are you making it so much fucking worse for yourselves by being this stupid? And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop at the local or the level of patrol. Now, I've talked about this, and I've never played this. I've played this before. I requested an interview with Sheriff Lamb. We got our wires crossed. We never did it. I'm taking this short interview out of context. I didn't watch this whole podcast. If you watch my stuff, there's a ton of stuff you could take out of context. But I wouldn't, if you post this up online, this is probably the most dangerous statement as a sheriff to ever fucking publicly admit online. And this is an embarrassment. If you take this exactly for what he says, I condemn this clip alone in its entirety. And I don't think that with this mentality, he has the fucking mental ability to be sheriff properly. And it drips down into two of his employees, which I've talked about before. Don't forget, Frank Sloop works for him. We know how Frank is on traffic stop. Frank Sloop's girlfriend. I did a video on what she did behind the scenes with me. This is indicative of a man who thinks he's above the law. I condemn these fucking words, but we'll hear them.
You get to carry a gun. You get to drive fast. If people get out of line, you get to rough them up. And that's the job? I'm like, sign me up. My neighbor says, hey, you want to go on a ride along? I'm like, sure, let's do it.
How old are you?
I'm 33 years old at this point. I go on this one ride along, and it was on an Indian reservation. We go on a graveyard shift. One of the calls we go on is a dad who had found a 20-year-old with his 14-year-old daughter. So the dad and the guy get into a scuffle. The guy runs out the back. I don't know why, but they let me out of the car. I'm out there armed with a flashlight and courage, walking around like I know what I'm doing. I walk up to this old abandoned travel trailer, and I see what I think inside of all this travel trailer is all this trash and clothes and just old junk in there. But I see what I think is a quarter size of skin in there. And I'm like, hey, I think this guy's in here. So they go in, move all the stuff. Sure enough, he's there. They grab him, they rough him up, tase him, put him in cuffs. I went home that morning, woke my wife up, and I said, honey, I'm gonna be a cop. Wait a second. You get to carry a gun. You get to drive fast. If people get out of line, you get to rough them up. And that's the job? I'm like, sign me up.
That's fucking domestic terrorism. And I don't give a shit what the crime was before. The beauty about being a cop is you have to have the amount of self-control to fucking not be an animal or a dog that administers punishment and abuses due process or the Constitution. How do you swear an oath to the Constitution and then go online with a raging fucking hard-on that you're looking to abuse people? I condemn this. I think this is the shittiest example of law enforcement, but the American public fucking loves this. They salivate this like a pack of savages themselves. They're dumb. They're unintelligent. And this is where the public is going to wind up continuing their disdain and non-support for police. I don't get it. Again, we don't educate our public that says it doesn't matter. The guy could have raped a fucking entire daycare nursery of toddlers. And the second he surrenders, the cop's job is to take him into custody, no matter how emotional they feel. No matter how much it's hitting somebody. My daughter's fucking 6 months. My son's 2 years old. And they want to take the life of this person. You have to respect the fucking law. Our Constitution, our way of life. It separates us from everyone else out there. But you in the public, nah, fuck that, dude. Nah, fuck that. If this guy felt so strongly about punishing people, then why didn't he run to be a judge? Why? We don't see judges like this up on the bench administering punishments. Why? We see them all with badges and guns. That's the biggest problem that we have in this country. We don't see the men or the women who are getting the information beyond them in front of them after the police do their job and say, no, fuck this, dude. You're going to prison. And in prison, we don't see the correctional officers administering properly the corrective behavior that they were imposed on them. We don't see that. We glorify the fucking cowboy police out there. This is how you're going to get the people to revolt. Because when it comes to this stance, whose decision is it to dish out punishment? There's the problem that not too many people are understanding. If you've got grandma crosses the street against, I don't know, a fucking red light, and she broke the law. And I don't know, I'm having a bad day. I'm like, fuck you, grandma. You remind me of my grandma who used to fucking beat me, and I put her in cuffs a little too roughly. Well, why are you going to condemn me? Because of my choice of discipline that you clearly have no problem supporting on the street. Well, it's a person who's a pedophile versus a grandmother across the street. Well, that's subjective. Wait, why is that crime more important to you than mine is to me? What if you have people that are in a neighborhood and somebody's dog will not shut the fuck up, and the dog barks till 2 a.m, every single night, and then I go around and I fucking pump 3 rounds into the fucking dog and shut him up? Well, yeah, we needed somebody to shut that dog up. Really? The point is you're getting it to the stage where you guys who are so ignorant, you lick the boots so fucking hard, you are okay with the police administering punishment. And the biggest shining example on the planet is Sheriff Grady Judd. Now, I covered this a while ago, and I issued a public retraction of this statement because Sheriff Grady Judd's office reached out to me and said, no, the sheriff wasn't quoted by this. But here is an American woman over on Twitter, 27,000 followers. She posts this. Polk County, Florida Sheriff. Here's a quote. You kill a policeman, it means no arrest, no Miranda rights, no negotiation, nothing but as many bullets as we can shoot into you, period. And the celebration of this statement, the people in the comments, as it should be, love him. More sheriffs need to take this approach. That's the way it should be. Why only 68 times? Florida justice. Do you get how absolutely dangerous and unintelligent you, the moronic fucking people, are? You're asking cops to be the ones who make the decisions to punish you. Now, you want that? Fine. Then vote that in, change the law. I'm all for that, dude. If that's the case, fine. Then make it so a cop sees you, cross the street with a bag of weed and you don't have your pants pulled up, and they can beat you. They could pound you, unarmed, pump a couple rounds in you, and all of a sudden then the public will be like, yeah, typical criminal fatherless behavior. 13%, 52. Go ahead, change the laws. And then let's get into the police that could actually administer punishment out there. This statement was not true. Grady Judd never said that. He never said that. But he did say this, and this is something we need to discuss. This was on the Patrick But David podcast. Just listen.
Where does your conviction come from to speak like that? You got, I believe, what was the award that you got? What was it? The 2022 Faith-Based Patriot of the Award. I mean, maybe I'm not getting it right. It was something like that was given to you, right? So there is an element of faith, but then there's the element of you crossed the line. I mean, you even had a story early on, right? When they took out one of your deputies and the K9, if I'm not mistaken, this could have been in 06. Williams was the gentleman's last name. And then the criminal came and shot him from the back, if I'm not mistaken, shot him 6 or 8 times. And then you guys shot this guy 68 times. And when the media asked you, why shoot him 68 times? Your answer was, we ran out of bullets. We would have shot him more. Where does that come from?
Well, it comes from the heart, and it comes from the soul, and it comes from what the overwhelming majority of the people are thinking. This guy shot and killed our canine, shot and killed our canine handler, shot the backup deputy, then took the dead canine handler's firearm, ran into the woods. City police came to back us up, shot at 2 of them and happened to miss them. Well, the next day, we had the area surrounded. The next morning when we had daylight, we had a SWAT team walk shoulder to shoulder through this wooded area in order to find him. Mm-hmm. Well, he pointed the dead deputy's gun at a SWAT team. What do you think's going to happen? Mm-hmm. You're going to get shot a lot. You're going to get shot so much you can read the Sunday New York Times through you. And that's what happened.
See, the problem I have with this is shut the fuck up, Sheriff, and do the job. Because now you're bringing in personal opinion from this. Listen to his answer again.
Not mistaken, shot him 6 or 8 times. And then you guys shot this guy 68 times. And when the media asked you, why shoot him 68 times? Your answer was, we ran out of bullets. We would have shot him more. Where does that come from?
Well, it comes from the heart.
No, it should come from law. It shouldn't come from the fucking heart. It shouldn't come from the heart. No, you can't admit that publicly. You're showing your cards. Now, all of your deputies, from what I've been told this, you guys don't have body cameras. How many of your deputies can say, well, yeah, Sheriff, I bounced his head off the squad car a couple times. Yeah, he busted his nose and teeth, but it came from the heart. You couldn't say, no, I actually used the correct force necessary to effect an arrest. It's semantics, right? I called into Dan Prof's show years ago, and he talked about police shooting to kill people. And when you really look at it, semantics, right? It's how you use wording. But which is better? I want to present my case of which is better. Which do you entrust more with the public? The police officer who says the role of using deadly force on a subject where it's warranted, right? We've established deadly force can be used. And there's circumstances dictate tactics, is to use force necessary to terminate life-threatening behavior. I've done many use of force videos on this. It's not to terminate the life, it's to terminate the life-threatening behavior, which means John Doe could hold a gun, I could come up, pump 5 rounds into him, he drops the gun, surrenders, I handcuff him to treat his wounds, he still lives. The life-threatening behavior, the life-threatening behavior was terminated. Versus, well, you shoot to kill him. You shoot to kill him. That's your intent? That's your intent? But again, it all boils down to the public. The public. The cops who are on duty. The retired ones. Well, you know what these fucking savages are like. I don't know how you guys can have the mindset that you go into this to serve. You see the reality of the shitbag people out there that you're serving, and then you think that your administering of punishment is how the job works. No, it doesn't make a difference. You could have the biggest piece of shit on the planet who's a convicted felon for rape and murder, and he served his time. And he did 30 years, came out. That person could be the victim of a crime. Guess what? They are still entitled by the Constitution, by the law, by the oath you swore, of the proper service that you provide as a police officer. You don't fucking like it, leave the job. This is why I say all cops are bad. Because they're part of a fucking system that doesn't respect the oath they swore to anymore. But listen more to this.
It comes from the soul, and it comes from what the overwhelming majority of the people are thinking. This guy shot and killed.
Comes from what a majority of the overwhelming public are thinking. The overwhelming public wants people punished. So you are now admitting you are the thugs of the state. It's all out there. It's all out there. We hear this all the time. I don't agree with Sheriff Grady Judd. I think that he's turned into a YouTube and Instagram celebrity that likes it, says what he says, and the stupid morons of his county. Well, Grady Judd is the best, and he's just until the day that you do something, right? Until the day that you have too much to drink to celebrate, and one of his fucking deputies pulls you over. Until you're at Thanksgiving dinner and all of a sudden you say something the wrong way. You have a bad fucking day. Your girlfriend breaks up with you and you have a bad fucking day. And then the police are called on you and then your head is bounced off the fucking squad car and you're shot 68 times because of whatever emotional trauma that just turns you, the model citizen, all of your life that you just finally had a bad day, something happens, but you run into the very same police that you endorse play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's right. You should have just mind your business and abided by the law. It's humanity. You guys want to, it blows me away. Blows me the fuck away the most in this. You want to humanize the badge all the time. You want to deal with like Mike the cops fucking humanizing the badge. All these people, let's humanize the badge, let's do this. But you don't want to humanize the people that they're interacting with. I don't know what this shitbag is that shot Grady Judd's deputy and the dog. I don't know what drove him to that point. And a lot of me doesn't care. But there's a human side. Something fucking happened to that human being. Some evil, some switch got flipped. Something fucking happened. I don't know what the shitbag is that Mark Lamb dealt with that put him down that path. Something fucking happened. If we're asking to humanize the badge, then where is the affordability that we humanize the fucking people that they're dealing with? And you guys all want, if you go back to Grady Judd, you all want this proportionality versus objectively reasonableness. So why is it that the cop standard of use of force is objectively reasonableness until the public wants it to be proportionality? Meaning it's you public that are the problem. You're like, yeah, he shot him 68 times. Should have shot him more. Was that objectively reasonable? Or is that proportionality? Well, great. Then that means that now the day that the cop comes up and does something like punches somebody in the face 15 times, and you don't like the kid just because he's black and he's a gang member, no, we're going to use the same fucking standard now. And now that cop's going to have to go to court and go to trial. You public are the worst thing when it comes down to licking the boots because you're fueling these rabid dogs on leashes. This is a great example. This is a case that was just dismissed yesterday and today from Oak Lawn, Illinois. And again, I looked at the video. I'm fine with the use of force. I was fine with everything. And this is a shining example why saying what we say on duty in front of a camera will fucking ruin everything.
That 17-year-old still here at Christ Medical Center today, and we're told he might be here for quite some time due to his injuries. The Oak Lawn police chief standing behind his officers' actions, saying they believed that teen had a firearm.
Ooh. To traditional tank water.
Why is they beating him like this? It's a little old boy.
Cell phone video captured by a bystander shows the moments police took down 17-year-old Hadi Abatella Wednesday evening.
Y'all, this is a little kid.
The footage going viral with calls for the Oak Lawn police officers involved to be fired. Sparking outrage from the Arab and Muslim communities in the south suburb.
Hands up on the car for me.
The police department released their dash camera video of the incident on Thursday, showing the moments before and after the arrest.
9-5. Hands up on the car for me.
What was initially a traffic stop turned into a foot chase and eventually an apprehension.
9-5 McVicker. 9-5 McVicker.
Oak Lawn police.
Now, if you watch the use of force, and that's only the video that's available, it's a justified use of force. They believe that the subject and the offender, I guess they had multiple contacts with, had a firearm on him. He runs, they pursue. The cop is seen giving him nerve strikes on the peroneal nerve on the leg. Justified. The other cop there gives a couple strikes to the face. I looked at it. They didn't wind up and haul off on him. As much as I purposely looked for an abuse of force in this video, I didn't see it. I saw what I believed was justifiable use of force to effect an arrest. Doesn't matter. Oh, it's a little boy. He's 17. Doesn't fucking matter. It was force that was necessary to use to effect an arrest. Now, you would think, well, all right, that's great. There you go. So that's me if I was a police chief, right? Here's my police chief press conference. Officer Izzo, can you explain? We're going to determine what we saw from the dash cam footage because we don't have body cameras yet. This is 2022. I don't know why we don't have body cameras yet. The use of force from our position, and an investigation will continue. We'll be 100% transparent. The use of force, in my opinion, and again, my agency and outside agencies will continue to look into this, was a justified, lawful use of force necessary to effect an arrest, considering the subject was known to us, the subject's behavior and actions warranted the use of force, and the subject also post-arrest, search, and custody yielded a firearm on scene, which the officers were assumed to have on, turned out to be true. So, yeah, to answer your questions, I'm standing by my officers on this one. But let's hear how this chief of police, again, context, don't know him, never met him. Let's hear how he answers that question.
Police Chief Daniel Vittori says his officers believed Abatella had a gun in his bag, and he says their actions were warranted.
Once they feared that there was a weapon in there, that then turned into a deadly force incident. So had the offender drawn that weapon, he could have shot him. Or were they supposed to wait for him to pull it out and then?
A loaded.
What? Well, I got to hear that again. I'm sorry. Let's hear that again.
Force incident. So
Says their actions were warranted.
once they feared that there was a weapon in there, that then turned into a deadly force incident.
Once they feared there was a weapon in there, it turned into a deadly force incident. Once they feared? Okay, let's continue.
So had the offender drawn that weapon, he could have shot him. Or were they supposed to wait for him to pull it out and then?
A loaded.
Okay, let's break this down line by line here. I want to be sure I heard this right.
Bag. And he says their actions were warranted.
Once they feared that there was a weapon in there, that then turned into a deadly force incident.
No, Chief. Once they observed there was a weapon there, it turned into a use of force incident. Now, once they feared, because now you're giving carte blanche to other cops. I was afraid for my safety. Oh, I was afraid that there was a weapon in there. I didn't know if there was one, but once there was, I was afraid. Holy shit. Let's continue. All right. I don't know.
So had the offender drawn that weapon, he could have shot him.
Well, we know that. So now you're doing what ifs. Law enforcement isn't based off what ifs, right? Again, I'm going to give the scenario. I show up to a scene and I fear, it's a gang member, stopped him a few times. I fear he has a firearm on him. Well, what if he goes in his pocket and he shoots me? Does that mean that I could take my pistol out and draw down and shoot him? No. Can I take my pistol out, draw down on him to prevent him? Yes. If I can articulate that I have reasonable suspicion or probable cause that he has a weapon on him. Again, this is not fair to the chief, but I'm going to address it the same way the fucking court of public opinion does. Because now all of a sudden, the public's going to see this and say, wait a second, so that means you can get out of your car for any reason. Get the fuck on the ground, motherfucker, because you fear somebody might have a gun on him? Well, good luck in the state of Texas. And then let's listen to this last part.
Or were they supposed to wait for him to pull it out and then?
A loaded.
What were they supposed to do? Wait for them to pull it out and then? This is how you don't hold a press conference. This is unprofessional. This is what it is. And I hope you've learned from this 2 years later. Yeah, Chief, to be 100% honest, I've said this example a million times. You get a guy, goes over to a nursing home, senior citizens on there, and he opens fire. He's got a flamethrower on him, and he torches the whole fucking place, and all people die. You show up on scene, he drops it on the ground. Well, by your justification, this is the chief. Well, yeah, our officers, let's Grady Judd and you. Officers show up and they pump 68 rounds into him. They run out of ammo. And here's the chief. Well, officers were afraid. What were they supposed to do? Wait for him to pick up the flamethrower again? Yeah, that's how use of force works in the fucking moment. Guy, this is where I keep telling you, if you are not cut out or you don't have the mental fortitude to go, holy shit, dude, this is the worst thing in the world. I don't know if I could do this. Guy sets a nursing home on fire, surrenders, fucking take him into custody. You have to turn it off, not be rabid dogs, put your heart on away for fucking violence. I don't give a shit. You have to control yourself better than any other human being on the planet. You smell burning flesh. You hear screaming fucking people. You cannot be Mills from 7, what's in the box, and find out what the box is and pump every fucking round into him. You can't do it. You can't do it. So yeah, what do we expect? We expect officers in that instance to find out there's a gun in his bag, in his fanny pack, and to be able to control the fucking hands, to use techniques to put him into cuffs so the hands can't go to the firearm to take him out and then use it on the public or the police. How about this, Chief? Shut the fuck up. All of you guys out there, from patrol to fucking sheriffs to chiefs, you guys are embarrassing this profession. The public will revolt when they find out, A, you don't know what you're doing, and B, you're thinking with your emotions, and you're giving people permission. How many people under Sheriff Mark Lamb get permission to act like fucking assholes and abuse people verbally, violate their First Amendment on traffic stops. And how far do we go? Violate their Fourth Amendment? How many people under Sheriff Grady Judd capitalize off of not having a body camera and fucking abuse people? How many people in Oak Lawn? Well, yeah, charges are dropped. Charges are dropped today, and people are outraged. Well, that's because they're stupid and they don't know what use of force is, right? I get it. But how many people need to understand what it is and have it backed up by the proper podium given press conference by saying our officers used force that was necessary to effect an arrest, and the public needs to come to the table and understand what we do. The Oak Lawn Police Department will be providing free use of force training every Wednesday night in 2025, so the public understands why we do what we do in a perfect, better opportunity to align the police and the public together. Again, we need to change this culture. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you fucking say it. Just because it feels good doesn't mean you do it. And the public, you guys got to get educated, because you are 90% of the problem when you're fueling and egging on the police. If you demand more from them, stop arbitrarily, blindly supporting them by saying, oh yeah, the guy deserved it, dude, because it's going to fucking happen to you. Bootlickers are the biggest problem out there. Command staff, as we see, is the second biggest fucking problem out there. And then cops who cannot control their emotions, well, they're the first biggest problem. They're the first big. So it's 3, 2, and 1 in order. That's it. Guys, just watch your fucking mouths out there. Control your emotions. Do the job you swore the oath to. And as always, be a professional. See you guys in the next video.